today about the topic of united for mission. And the title of my discussion, United for Mission, some of you are probably thinking, well, of course, we're United Methodists after all. We are united for mission, and you'd be right on target. We are all United Methodists. We happen to be part of this congregation here at Vancouver Heights United Methodist. Some of us were here when we were East Vancouver United Methodist. What are the common words? United Methodist. One word, unique and basic to all United Methodism, is connectionalism. That means simply that all United Methodist leaders and congregations are connected by certain loyalties and commitments that call us to live in a covenantal accountability and empower us to be in ministry together here and around the world. One reason United Methodists can do great things is the Church's emphasis on connectionalism. This concept has been central to Methodism from its very beginning. No local church, not even Vancouver Heights, is the total body of Christ. Therefore, we are bound together by a common task and common governance that reaches out into the world. Early Methodists adopted a way of living in covenant with Christ and one another that yield rich spiritual fruit in their lives and in their engagement with the world. One result of this vitality was the emergence of Methodism as a distinct tradition and its growth in North America into a family of denominations. But over the course of this growth, these denominations gradually abandoned central aspects of the original Methodist way. They settled into the status of mainstream Protestant churches, distinguishing themselves primarily by their unique polity. This process was accompanied by increasing loss of spiritual vigor, evangelical zeal, and missional vitality. As an heir to these developments, the United Methodist Church finds itself today, particularly in North America, in the ironic position of being marked by such nominal commitment and spiritual lethargy. Yes, we stand in need of our own movement of renewal. There are many pockets of vitality within contemporary United Methodism, especially in the broader global settings, that can and must contribute to this renewal. But even in these settings, there is much to be gained from considering anew and reclaiming the way of life that defined and empowered us as in the early United Methodist movement. A congregation that embodies the wisdom of the Methodist way broadly in its life and ministry will be marked by at least these characteristics. I want you to think of these as I'm sharing with you to see how this applies to Vancouver Heights. First of all, commitment. Commitment to ongoing formation of the Christian doctrine with emphasis on the transforming power and goal of God's saving work in our lives and world. Faithful worship that draws on the rich liturgical resources of the tradition within the cultural context, inviting participants to celebrate and be shaped by the whole Christian story into the image of God. Regular celebration of communion and use of other occasional ritual means of grace. Watching over one another in love through small groups that nurture growth and discipleship by providing mutual support, mentoring, and accountability. Emphasis on cultivating intentional relationships with ministry, with those whom Charles Wesley called Jesus' bosom friends, the poor, the imprisoned, children, the powerless, and the vulnerable. Embrace the Wesley's model of stewardship as a way of life for individuals and the congregation. Supporting and modeling regular Bible study, prayer, fasting, and other personal works of piety. consistent concern for inviting individuals and families into relationship with Jesus Christ, combined with wise practices for initiating them into the body of Christ. Attention to identifying and cultivating those gifted to take roles of leadership in the range of ministry within a congregation. An appreciation for connection with others, congregations, and institutions in participating in God's mission of personal, societal, and global transformation. Now I'd like to share with you some thoughts from the book entitled Beyond Money, Becoming Good and Faithful Stewards by Dan R. Dick. Ministry is the way Christian stewards live their daily lives. What we have been taught as disciples, we live as stewards. Stewardship is always about more than money, but it must include money. When the focus of the church is the world, the congregation becomes a place where disciples are trained to be stewards. A primary work of the congregational leadership is to create an environment where we can discover who we are, how we are gifted, and what our potential is as the body of Christ. Church is not a place, but an identity. One of the reasons that I chose the song we sang first today is We Are the Church. Congregations benefit more from making a commitment to spend time focusing on the values held in common than wasting a lot of time and energy arguing about areas of difference. Faithful stewardship calls us to care for and share the best that God gives, including ourselves. The importance of the offering is not the need of the institution to receive support, but of the giver to grow in relationship to God and the Christian community. Giving is not about the need of the institution to receive, but about the need of the Christian disciple to give as they grow and grow as they give, to become trustworthy financial stewards. When our relationship with money is included in our spiritual life, giving becomes a natural expression of a growing faith. Now, some of you may be familiar with the term apportionments. This is a practice that is rooted in Methodism. Apportionments are our first mile of giving. I want to quote Mike Niehaus, who recently said to me, "When the apportionment system works, it is a beautiful thing." Apportionment giving is the framework for our connectional ministry and mission. Through this giving, we are united for mission. When we give generously through our local church, United Methodist congregations here and around the world are able to pay our fair share of apportionments, and through our apportionments, we are able to support these causes. First and foremost, World Service Fund. The World Service Fund is the financial lifeline to a long, long list of Christian missions and ministries throughout our denomination, here and around the world. Africa University Fund. By supporting this, we are meeting Africa's vital needs. Africa University graduates work in many areas such as agriculture, healthcare, and church growth and development. Ministerial Education Fund allows the United Methodist Church to continue its commitment to recruit and educate quality pastoral leadership and certified Christian educators. The Black College Fund helps 11 United Methodist-related historically black colleges in the United States to maintain solid and challenging academic programs, strong faculties, and well-equipped